Hi, my name is Sarah Jolly, and I'm super excited to be here to present my capstone reflection and what I learned this semester through my project. To start, I wanted to show my ID. So it says Sarah Gibbons because I got married, and Sarah Jolly is my maiden name. Alrighty, so I'll go ahead and get started. My project goal was centered on patient education. My mentor was a lactation specialist, so I created educational materials that focused on helping breastfeeding women. The goal was to help women understand how to properly breastfeed and address some of the main concerns that many breastfeeding women have, such as nipple pain, increasing milk supply, etc. And I used scholarly resources to help educate these women. I created four different outlets to create educational materials to elicit interest. So the perceived benefits of lactation are lactation helps to educate women about how to breastfeed. It prepares women to utilize breast pumps and increase milk supply. It helps to increase women's confidence in feeding their infants. It allows women to maintain a good latch, and it also encourages a bond between mother and infant. So the perceived benefits for this organization through this project was it provides resources for the organization to distribute to clients. It aids lactation specialists in education. It provides visual examples to better educate patients. And it aids the organization in evidence-based practices that relate to breastfeeding concerns. So the criteria that I had for my mentor was I wanted a preceptor involved in a specialty that I was interested in. And I've always been interested in women's health. And so that was something I wanted to explore more of. I wanted a preceptor that was willing and excited to work with me, a preceptor who had worked in their respective field for more than 1 year, and a preceptor who's compassionate and kind to their patients. And my mentor checked off every single box of this and really pushed me to be a better nurse through working with her. So the goals of my project was to first increase my knowledge about breastfeeding through scholarly sources, to create educational materials that were visually and appealing and aesthetic, and have involved clients report back that the educational materials improved their breastfeeding experience. So the purpose of my first goal was to obtain an adequate knowledge about concepts that my clients were struggling with. This would help me to create those educational materials with evidence-based knowledge, and I wanted a good foundation of knowledge to be able to relay that information to them. The purpose of my second goal was to elicit interest through making creative educational materials that were picturesque. I used four different types of educational outlets to portray the information I gathered in unique ways. And then finally, the purpose of my last goal was used to assess how the educational materials impacted the involved clients. I utilized a survey asking these clients about their experience and was able to see the impact of the project and receive feedback on what I could have done better. So my capstone analysis, the environment of the practicum was done through technology and in the different homes of the clients. My mentor is a part of a remote lactation consulting agency. So she meets with all of her clients and patients in their homes to help provide lactation help. In regards to time, I had to adjust my schedule slightly during the course of this project. I distributed the educational materials and post survey in the same week, and my research project took 1 week longer than I anticipated. Then finally, the difficulties that I ran into was time management and then also navigating technology to create these educational materials. I had to adjust my time management, and I spent a lot of time practicing with the technology to create the educational materials. So these are my pre-survey results, and it shows what the women were most struggling with, what has been the best part of breastfeeding, and this helped me to get a base on where their concerns lie. And I found that a lot of their concerns were found in nipple pain and increasing their milk supplies, having effective time management while breastfeeding, and things of that nature. And then also obtaining a good latch. So the first resource that I created was actually a latch checklist. I created this checklist with my mentor about how to obtain a deep latch for breastfeeding and how to identify that the latch is correct because many women struggle with this. The second resource that I created was how to increase milk supply, and this was something that I received via the survey that I sent out, and I found that through research there were different ways that helped women to increase their supplies. And then the third resource that I created was to address nipple pain, which many women struggle with. And I created a video, and then the link is below. And then finally, the last resource that I created was a PowerPoint. For this resource, I addressed common myths and questions that are asked during breastfeeding, and I gathered many ideas from the survey I distributed before I started my project. So these are the post-survey results, and from the results that I received, all of the clients that were involved found that the educational materials were helpful and helped to improve their breastfeeding experience. So evidence of decision making, I was constantly messaging my mentor and going over to her house to discuss the projects and the goals that I had set out. And then here are a few examples of our text exchanges talking about the initial project and some of the critiques that she had to improve the resources that I had created. So I was able to achieve all of my goals. I was able to achieve my first goal of increasing my knowledge of breastfeeding using scholarly sources by using renowned databases. I used Google Scholar and created a Word document recording all the information I learned and the references I used. I was able to achieve my second goal through using a platform to help me create aesthetic educational materials. I gained new ideas and I practiced creating resources. I was pushed out of my comfort zone for this goal, and I'm proud of the progress that I did make in creating these educational resources. And then finally, I was able to achieve my final goal through the results I received through the survey I distributed after the clients were given the educational materials. All of the clients reported having an improved experience during breastfeeding and found the educational resources to be beneficial. So the benefits of lactation. So I found that this helped to create individualized care to women who needed breastfeeding help. It treated women's mental health and concerns to breastfeeding. It increased women's confidence in feeding their infants. It aided lactation specialists in educating women. It educates women about breastfeeding and debunks common myths. And then finally provides educational resources and individualized help outside of lactation specialists. So the professional growth benefits that I found through this project was it helped me to identify my passion for women's health. I previously worked in pediatrics, so I wasn't super involved with women's health prior to this project, and so it helped me realize that I do want to work in this field. And so it motivates me to look for professions in women's health, such as being a lactation specialist, working postpartum and in labor and delivery. And then this project also increased my knowledge about lactation to help breastfeeding women. And then it inspires me to use education as an outlet to help others. So the skills that I achieved through this project was I was able to attain decision-making skills as I perceived what the most important ideas to portray to the clients were and what materials would capture their attention. I was able to obtain creativity through thinking of different educational materials to use and gain ideas through using a technological platform. And then finally, I became flexible through this project by altering my research to what the clients needed and altering my time schedule to best fit my research and distribution. So the project summary, pre-intervention, the survey results indicated that patients wanted to learn about nipple pain, increasing milk supply, maintaining a good latch, and using effective time management. And so I based my studies and research around that using scholarly sources and to create these educational materials. And post intervention, the survey results indicated that each client found the resources to be helpful and have improved their breastfeeding experience. The only feedback that I did receive was to include names and addresses of additional lactation help. So the influence on future practice, this project has helped me to use creative platforms to create educational materials, and that's something I want to use in the future. I will also use education as a tool to support my patients. I will utilize scholarly platforms to obtain information, and then I plan on finding a job in women's health. So in conclusion, this project has challenged me and grew my knowledge about women's health, and I have a huge passion for breastfeeding, and I look forward to utilizing the knowledge I obtained through this project. So thank you so much.